Welcome to the Cricket Matters podcast. Today's topic is how cricket bat weight and shape affect your technique. You gave me a big old title to
You're welcome.
to say there, James. I was just going to talk about how to find the perfect bat weight, but then you complicated it. We are talking all about the perfect cricket bat and how to find it. First question, mate, is why does cricket bat weight even matter? It's not something. It's genuinely until recently, and we've talked about it with obviously like the German women's cricket team and stuff. It's not something I'd even thought about.
Well, it is, and it's something I hadn't really taken a deep dive into until started working with a lot of the women's teams. Because when you're watching the women play, unfortunately, a lot of bottom hand comes in with their technique. Now, bottom hand is a bad thing when technique, because bottom hand comes in, it takes over from the top hand, which means you lose control, your shoulder opens up, and you're trying to muscle the ball more, as opposed to guide it delicately with your top hand, which is what all the expert technique enthusiasts around the world love to see. So it really exaggerated it. And I thought about myself and how I've grown up throughout the years, where we idolized bigger bats, heavier bats being the thing to smash the ball over the boundary. Then I just went, hang on a second, let me take a deep dive. And I highly recommend, if you have 20 minutes of your life you'd like to spend reading the blog to go alongside this. I just took a deep dive in it and saying what I'm seeing and just see, well, what is the physics behind it, right? What is the physics of cricket bats? And why do I need to know this as a coach to teach and work with all the clients we work with? And what I realize is, okay, power equals strength times speed. But also, it's strength times speed times time. You've got the lag factor, right? It's how much extra time you have with a bat swing to bring the bat down. Now, if that bat is too heavy, you can't take the bat up optimally, right? Which means you have to compensate to bring it down with your bottom hand to come through. Now, conversely, which is something I found recently, because I went and bought a fancy new lighter bat, right? And it's a fantastic bat. It's too light for me. I'm coming through too quickly on the ball without me realizing it. So there's a problem either end. It's either too heavy or too light.
So are there a lot of different bat shapes as well? Because again, obviously, I am the cricket novice among us. I'd never even considered that there were different. I'm like talking about like the back of the bat. Are there different shapes?
Yeah, there's different styles. Different profiles of the bat, like a low profile, mid profile, high profile, depending
on... Like a tyre.
Like a tyre, yeah. Almost like a tyre, yes. So you have all these different profiles, and the shapes of the back of the bat are weighted differently too. So there's an art and finesse and style to it. It's just not like picking up a bit of wood and going, here we go, have some of that. The art is what we call balance. Is the bat balanced? How does it feel? How does the pickup feel as you're picking the bat up? Because some bats will feel lighter picking up, some bats will feel heavier picking up. But it's how does it feel for you as you're coming through? And the point is, there's no one right bat for everybody, but we've got to help you find that right bat for you. But at the moment, most bats are too heavy for people across the board.
Then is there a method or formula? Basically, how do you choose the right bat weight, shape, etc.?
Trial and error. It has to be trial and error, and this is what I'm seeing more and more, based on my own experiences, but also working with the women, working with the girls, and working with men as well. Because it's not just a women problem, right? A lot of the men are using bats because we all assumed that £2.13 or £2.12 was a heavier bat. It'll make you hit the ball harder. But if you're not physically strong enough,
if you can't move that bat quick enough, then
it's not going to work. You need the speed. Right, strength times speed times time. That's how you're going to be optimal when you're coming playing the shots. So if you haven't got the technique, it means you're going to be early on the bat. You're not going to have as much time. But if you haven't got the grip strength to use it, you can't bring the bat back and you can't control it. So the bottom hand comes in all the time. So again, when people want to say, well, what's the perfect bat shape and size? Depends on your game. First of all, are you more of a front foot player? If you're in South Wales like me and most of the other people in South Wales, you need a predominantly low profile type bat because you're on the front foot all the time. They're slow and low wickets. Whereas if you're growing up in the fast, hard bouncing pitches of Australia, you may need a slightly higher bat profile to cope with the extra bounce coming through because you're playing more for the back foot. Okay, so what I keep saying to people is the first test I do with them. I want to do some underarm throws with you, underarm bobble feeds, and I want to see how your top hand only can play these shots. Because if you can't play it with the top hand, then you're struggling. It either means the bat's too heavy or you're not strong enough, right? Most times people don't want to admit they're not strong enough. And they also don't admit the bat's too heavy for them. But the point is this shows very quickly because they can't hit it. Now, the second thing is I'm looking for 3 things with this top hand bat drill. Where's the starting point with the bat? Because most of them then cheat. They take their bat up here and hold it up high and let it just fall down. But when they let it just fall down, it encourages poor technique because it's allowing you to play the bat, the front foot and the hands go at the same time, playing it together where there should be a lag. The other one is they're starting too low. They keep the bat around the midriff and it's too low and they just prod at the ball again. Same problem, feet and hands go at the ball at the same time. What I'm looking for is their technique, because it's a technique drill as well. Can they pick the bat up as their front leg goes forward? And can they drive the ball with good timing along the floor? Onside, offside, it should be almost hardly any difference compared to using the 2 hands. That is the drill I use, and that's the breakdown of it to see it very quickly to test grip strength, basic technique, and if the bat's too heavy. Because if the bat's too heavy, we're always going to have a problem. And if they haven't got the fundamental technique of back lift and being strong enough in the grip, it's always going to be a problem too. So we need to address it. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. Is there any sense in training? Now we're talking about training, not in games. Training with sometimes with heavier, sometimes with lighter, because we know I don't know if they do it in baseball anymore, but they used to train that was the thinking. Train with heavier bats to improve your strength and your grip strength and your power, etc. Don't really think they do that anymore, but. Any sense in that at all?
Yeah, well, there's a great study actually in the article when I was doing the research for this, and they found that using a variety of different weights around performance to increase your power and speed actually helps your bat speed to come down. Now, it's not a game thing, it's about finding the right one for you. So for me, what I found is even though this new fancy bat is too light for me in game situations or like in the nets placing bowlers, it's allowing me to pick up my hands higher and go quicker through the ball. So I'm not timing it right, properly, but it's encouraging me my back lift and speed to come through. And again, when I come back to my bat, I'm coming through a lot quicker with my hands as a result. So it's a training drill as opposed to a game drill. And yes, so there is method to this madness. But again, it comes down to basic technique. Do you know what your ideal weight is? Yes or no? Are you strong enough in your grip to manage that weight? And bat shape plays a key element to this. And we should get some bat makers onto the podcast, I think, too, to discuss about this.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I didn't realise there was such an art to it, to be honest. Cricket bats all look the same to me. It's just a bloody cricket bat.
Unbelievable. Get out of this. Get out of it.
Philistine.
that is literally, I think we need to get them to explain it, but the shape is different for different players and how they play their game. So it's find the right one for you, but bear in mind your bat impacts your technique more than you think. Therefore, when I see young kids or parents buying bats for their kids, they'll grow into this. So they buy them a bat that's too heavy. So what happens? It's too big, it's too heavy. It encourages poor technique from the start. And it's very hard to, take that grained movement away when we start to see it.
Yeah. There we go. So make sure you put some thought into it and try and find the right bat weight for you. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review and subscribe. And if you would like our free training plan, then go to cricketmatters.com/train. And remember, our goal is to make you a better cricketer.